Imagine a vibrant college town, buzzing with energy, students everywhere, late nights, all that promise of the future just starting.
Yeah, it's that crisp Friday night feeling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Laughter, music.
Exactly. Friends out together. And you've got this young woman maybe having a bit too much fun, just caught up in being away from home.
It's a scene that feels so familiar, like you can picture it on almost any campus.
Totally. But then it just shifts. The background noise fades and you hear this chilling phrase that just cuts through everything. I'm not getting in the car with you.
Oof. Yeah, that's a stark image.
And that really unsettling moment, that's our starting point for one of the most heartbreaking cases we've looked into. Today on the Deep Dive, we're going to unpack the tragic disappearance and murder of 18-year-old Hannah Graham, a student at UVA.
But this isn't just about one crime, is it? It's more like a web, unsettling connections, patterns that came out during the investigation.
Right. It paints a picture of something much larger, an insidious shadow cast over years by one person.
And to really understand this, we've looked at a lot of material. Extensive surveillance footage, which is just incredible.
Yeah. Piecing together her last movements almost minute by minute.
Detailed police reports, the real procedural stuff, heartbreaking statements from Hannah's family.
Oh, yeah.
Legal documents from the trials, and some deep dives into the perpetrator's history and psychology. It's quite a collection of sources.
So beyond just the facts, what we really want to do here is explore some tough questions. Victim vulnerability, the psychology of someone who does this repeatedly.
A serial perpetrator.
Exactly. And also how something so awful can actually lead to systemic changes. We'll look at the details that make this case stand out and what it tells us about, vigilance, forensic science, and just public safety.
Okay, so let's start with Hannah herself. Hannah Elizabeth Graham.
Just 18, a second year at UVA, and by all accounts, just full of life, right?
Absolutely. Born in England, moved to Fairfax County, Virginia when she was 5.
Oh, interesting. Near Stratford Landing. River Farm area. That's old George Washington land, isn't it?
That's right. So, yeah, grew up right there in Virginia. And the descriptions of her, consistently happy, bright, really smart.
Athletic, too, I read. Softball.
Mm-hmm.
And musical.
Yeah, well-rounded, vibrant. The phrase bursting with vigor comes up, and it doesn't feel like an exaggeration. People said she'd light up a room.
You see that in the photos, don't you? Always smiling.
Always, just radiating positivity. And that phrase, potential to take the world by storm, it really hits home, the sense of loss. What was stolen?
Yeah, it really does. Her life was like just beginning, all those possibilities, and then just nothing. It's a reminder of how fast things can change. So let's walk through that night. September 12th, 2014, a Friday, going into Saturday the 13th.
Okay, so Hannah leaves her apartment in Grand Mark around 9:30 p.m., just planning to meet friends. Pretty standard college night.
Right. She has drinks at Fig, a restaurant in Charlottesville, around 8 p.m., then goes to a party at Camden Plaza Apartments on 14th Street.
And it's sometime around midnight, things start to shift. She says she's not feeling well, plans to leave the party.
And a friend offered to walk her home.
Yeah, a friend did. Noticed she wasn't quite right, but Hannah refused. Maybe independence, maybe just the alcohol. She said no.
And that decision turns out to be critical. Because her apartment was within walking distance, right?
It was. But she left the party and started walking in the completely opposite direction.
Towards Tempo Restaurant on the downtown pedestrian mall. That's several blocks away.
Exactly. Away from her home, towards a more public but maybe more confusing area late at night. And this is where the surveillance cameras start picking her up.
Providing that trail.
Yeah.
Walking past businesses, heading downtown.
Yeah. And what's really unsettling here is how quickly things became dangerous because she was disoriented. The footage shows her at 12:44 a.m. She's in the downtown mall area.
Okay.
Then just 12 minutes later, 12:56 a.m., she sends that text to her friend.
The one saying she's lost.
Lost and didn't feel well, and she mentioned being intoxicated. So she knew she was impaired, knew she was lost, and she was alone. That's maximum vulnerability right there.
And that's when Jesse Matthew Jr. enters the picture.
Jesse Loy Matthew Jr., 32 years old at the time, working part-time as a taxi driver and also an operating room tech.
Kind of an odd combination.
Yeah.
But his night, it wasn't just a normal night out for him either, was it?
No. The sources say he was bar hopping and specifically making rude and unwanted advances towards women. Multiple reports later said he'd stepped over the line. So he was already exhibiting predatory behavior that evening.
Before he even saw Hannah.
Right. And the surveillance footage here is just chilling. It shows Hannah wandering, clearly disoriented. Matthew sees her, lets her walk by initially.
Then turns
And follows her, calculates the opportunity. The camera catches him approaching her, putting his arm around her.
Like he's helping her.
Exactly. A seemingly innocent gesture. They walk towards Tempo Restaurant. He goes inside, buys 2 drinks. There's a slight question in the sources whether she went into or stayed outside or if she was even served.
But they were definitely together at that point.
Definitely together.
And this is where it gets, truly terrifying. That last text message, 1 a.m.
Just minutes after being seen with him.
I got stuck down there.
What
does that even mean?
Her friend had no idea. It was just nonsensical. And that was it. Last communication.
So you have the disorientation, the walking the wrong way, the encounter with this guy, and then this bizarre final text. It paints this picture of absolute vulnerability. Had he just found his next victim?
That was the horrifying question, and the worry started almost immediately.
Right, because her friends knew this wasn't like her.
Exactly. By September 14th, just over a day later, they report her missing. They couldn't reach her since that 1 a.m. text. And Hannah was known for being responsible, vanishing like that. It set off major alarm bells.
And the police response was fast, not just to standard missing persons.
No, incredibly swift. State and federal law enforcement, the FBI, got involved quickly, partly because of the alarming nature, but also
the history in the area.
Yeah, Charlottesville and Albemarle County. There was sensitivity. Other disappearances, Morgan Harrington, just 5 years before, still unsolved. The community was anxious. They needed reassurance.
And this is where that surveillance footage became so vital.
Absolutely crucial. Investigators gathered everything they could find. Videos from businesses, public cameras.
A massive undertaking.
Huge. They pieced together her movements minute by minute, right up to the last sighting. And that footage allowed them to identify the person she was last seen with.
Jesse Matthew.
Jesse Matthew.
Right.
First solid lead.
So the focus shifts immediately to him. September 19th, they get a warrant for his apartment, which some sources were already calling
the back-to-school killer's apartment. Yeah, a chilling name that's stuck.
And that first search, it turned up things right away, didn't it?
Immediately. A cell phone, but the SIM card was missing, suggesting an attempt to hide something.
And the shorts.
The shorts. Critically important. Men's shorts containing Matthew's DNA, sperm specifically, and Hannah's DNA.
Wow. Undeniable.
And her DNA was also on the passenger door of his car, that orange Chrysler Sebring. Direct physical links.
So the evidence is piling up fast.
Very fast. Second warrant the next day, September 20th. More thorough search. They weren't charging him yet, but they were building the case.
What else did they find?
His Galaxy phone, bedding, pillows, more clothes, toothbrush, hair samples, wallet, a cigar butt, fibers. Lots of potential forensic evidence.
And a third warrant.
Yep. Collected white shorts, a maroon shirt, a towel with a reddish-brown stain. His car was seized, too.
And they brought in the bloodhound.
They did. And the dogs tracked Hannah's scent to the back entrance of his apartment, the passenger door of his car, and, disturbingly, a nearby dumpster, suggesting a possible disposal attempt.
But just as things are closing in, Matthew makes a move.
He does. September 20th, he goes to the Charlottesville PD, asks for a lawyer, refuses to talk about Hannah. Standard procedure.
And
then he leaves, gets in a car, speeds off, and actually manages to lose the investigators tailing him.
He fled,
triggering a nationwide manhunt. And they quickly discovered he'd gotten a new driver's license, withdrawn most of his cash. Classic signs of planning to disappear.
So they issue a wanted poster. Description, last seen. Possibly in his sister's blue Nissan.
Right, because his orange Chrysler was impounded.
And his family started making public appeal.
Yeah, his aunt, Alice Fletcher, pleaded with him publicly to cooperate, to help Hannah's family find her. It shows the desperation everyone felt.
And the community response. Vigils, searches.
Huge outpouring. Hundreds at UVA for a candlelight vigil. Thousands of volunteers searching Charlottesville and Albemarle County. Just wanted to do anything to help find her. It was this incredible display of shared hope and determination.
So the manhunt is on. How long did it take to find him?
Just 4 days. September 24th, he's spotted on a beach in Texas, Galveston County.
Texas? Wow. How did they find him there?
He was using his sister's blue Nissan, trying to blend in, living in a tent. A passerby recognized him from the news reports, called 911.
Good for them.
Absolutely. Local sheriff's department detained him. Extradition started immediately, and by then, the reward for information about Hannah was up to $100,000.
That shows the urgency. So they bring him back to Virginia.
Back to Charlottesville, Albemarle Regional Jail. Held without bond, finally off the streets.
But Hannah was still missing. The search continued.
Relentlessly. Until October 18th, almost exactly a month after she disappeared.
They found remains?
Skeletal remains. Found on a property off Old Lynchburg Road in Albemarle County. Very remote, densely wooded area behind a vacant house.
The place you wouldn't just stumble upon.
Exactly. Somewhere you'd have to know about. And at the scene, they found clothes resembling what Hannah wore. A crop top, jeans. Significantly, the top was inside out, one pant leg inside out.
Which you can indicate
A struggle. Or a hurried, violent removal. A watch was nearby, too. But no undergarments, no shoes, no phone.
And there was a witness nearby. Someone saw his car.
A nearby resident reported seeing Matthew's orange Chrysler backed into an access road behind that property on the morning of September 13th. The day she vanished, gate closed, no one in the car.
So he knew the area.
Yeah.
His taxi driving experience.
Likely gave him intimate knowledge of these remote spots.
The remains go to the medical examiner.
Dr. Kevin Y. in Richmond. The findings were grim. Homicidal violence, most likely cause strangulation or suffocation.
And the nasal fractures.
2 perimortem nasal fractures, meaning broken at or very near the time of death, indicating a violent struggle.
And the DNA.
Confirmed definitively. It was Hannah Elizabeth Graham. Just heartbreaking finality.
But the forensic work didn't stop there, did it? This is where the story takes another huge, shocking turn.
It really does. The DNA from Hannah's remains, obviously linking Matthew to her murder, it also unexpectedly matched something else.
Morgan Harrington.
Morgan Dana Harrington, the student who disappeared in October 2009. Her remains were found months later, January 2010, on a farm in Albemarle County, also ruled a homicide.
And the locations where they were found were close.
Chillingly close, just 6 miles apart. And now the absolute link. Matthew's DNA was found on Morgan Harrington's shirt.
Tying him directly to that 5-year-old cold case.
Irrefutably.
But then it goes even further back.
Even further. The DNA from Morgan's shirt, Matthew's DNA, it also matched DNA from a violent assault and rape way back in 2005.
In Fairfax County.
Fairfax County, Virginia. A young woman walking home, attacked, raped, threatened, but thankfully left alive. DNA was collected then, but it hit no matches in the database. A cold case for almost a decade.
And the victim. She moved away.
Moved to India, out of fear for her life, understandably.
So just to be clear, Hannah Graham, Morgan Harrington, the 2005 Fairfax victim.
Yeah.
All linked by DNA to one man, Jesse Matthew.
A single serial murderer operating undetected for years. It deepens the horror exponentially.
Which brings us back to that question. How? How does someone do this across years, across locations, and just blend in?
It forces you to look at the perpetrator himself, at his past.
Right. And Matthew's past is full of contradictions. Grew up
Yeah.
in poverty, bullied, had a stutter, learning disabilities. Challenges, definitely.
Significant challenges. But somehow he persevered enough to get a full football scholarship to Liberty University, which suggests some kind of resilience or drive.
But there was a darker side emerging early on. Allegations at Liberty back in 2002.
An accusation of raping a female student. He left Liberty, went to Christopher Newport University in 2003.
And another accusation there?
Another sexual assault accusation. The pattern starts early. After leaving school, he sort of bounced around from job to job.
Including taxi driver in Charlottesville, giving him that local knowledge.
Exactly. And then the 2005 Fairfax attack confirmed the violent trajectory, years before Hannah and Morgan.
Yet, people described him differently. Friends, family.
That's the paradox. Kind-hearted soul, gentle person, charming. Descriptions that are just impossible to reconcile with the reality.
The reality being at least 12 women accusing him of previous assaults.
At least 12. It's staggering. How do you square those two portraits? The Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing the sources mention?
It's baffling.
It speaks to that masking ability. Living 2 lives. Blending in. And the sources do mention alleged childhood trauma. A girlfriend told detectives he claimed he was sexually abused as a child.
By multiple people.
By at least 3 individuals during elementary school, she alleged. One repeatedly forced to keep it secret. Again, this absolutely does not excuse his actions. Let's be crystal clear on that.
Of course not.
But the sources raise the question, did that trauma play a role? That whole nature versus nurture debate, could it contribute to a downward spiral without intervention? His father was also mentioned as absent sometimes, a drinker, arrested for indecent exposure himself.
So, A complex background. Heredity, upbringing, choices. All factors experts consider when trying to understand this kind of behavior, but never an excuse.
Not even an excuse, just context for understanding perhaps the development.
So after years of this and the investigation finally catching up, the legal process begins. February 10th, 2015, he's formally charged with Hannah's murder. First degree, abduction with intent to defile.
Which means kidnapping for the purpose of sexual assault. Serious charges. And prosecutors initially sought the death penalty.
But his lawyers tried for a deal.
Right away, they offered 25 years if he pled guilty to both Hannah's and Morgan's murders.
But the families.
The Graham and Harrington families met, discussed it, and they refused. They felt it wasn't enough, given the damage, and crucially, it didn't guarantee he'd never be free. Public safety was paramount for them.
So negotiations continued, and a final deal was reached.
March 2nd, 2016, a comprehensive plea deal. He confessed to murdering both Hannah Graham and Morgan Harrington.
And in exchange,
the death penalty was taken off the table. His family even asked the judge for leniency. Because of the plea, the trial itself was very short, just under 3 days.
And the sentence?
4 consecutive life sentences. No possibility of early release, geriatric release, or parole. Ever. He would die in prison.
And he was also indicted for the 2005 Fairfax case.
Yes, finally bringing some resolution to that cold case, too. As part of the deal, Matthew waived all rights to appeal, withdraw his plea, or seek early release. It was locked in.
Though the Commonwealth could re-indict on capital murder if he violated the terms. A safeguard.
Pretty much a safeguard, yeah. Unlikely to be needed, but it was there.
And the sentencing itself. The judge was clear about the brutality.
Judge David Schell explicitly noted the brutal and horrific viciousness of the attacks. Matthew reportedly showed little emotion, though his mother screamed and was removed. He did ask his attorney to apologize to the families, saying he was terribly sorry.
Whether that was genuine, who knows?
Exactly. But the families, John and Sue Graham particularly, they fully supported this final deal. Their overriding priority, they said, was ensuring he could never be able again to inflict his depravity on young women, a public safety imperative.
And the plea deal spared everyone the trauma of a long trial.
Spared Hannah's friends from testifying, the community, the families themselves, from reliving it all in a 4-week public trial. It provided finality and accountability, as they put it, acknowledging nothing replaces a child, but hoping for closure and healing.
And that wasn't the end of their fight, was it? The Grahams became advocates.
Powerful advocates for expanding Virginia's DNA database. They focused on that crucial detail, Matthew's 2010 trespassing conviction.
A misdemeanor that, at the time, didn't require DNA collection.
Exactly. Their argument was chillingly simple. If his DNA had been collected then, it would have matched the 2005 Fairfax case. He would have been identified, likely jailed.
And Hannah might still be alive.
That was their deeply held belief. They testified before the State Crime Commission, pushing relentlessly to close that loophole for certain misdemeanors, to catch dangerous offenders sooner.
And they succeeded.
They did. In June 2018, Governor Ralph Northam signed bills expanding the list of misdemeanor convictions that require mandatory DNA collection in Virginia, a direct result of their advocacy, tuning their loss into major public safety reform.
Incredible strength. And Morgan Harrington's legacy lives on, too.
Absolutely. Her mother, Gil Harrington, founded Help Save the Next Girl, a nonprofit honoring Morgan, raising awareness among young women about predatory dangers, empowering them.
Turning grief into prevention.
Exactly. And the family funded scholarships at Virginia Tech, Morgan School, and even a school in Africa, keeping her spirit alive in meaningful ways.
And Jesse Matthew today, what's his status?
Well, in December 2020, he was moved from prison to a hospital, MCV in Richmond, under tight security, diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Yes. As of late 2022, the latest public info, he was still alive, still in custody, serving those life sentences. His crime spree definitively over.
And Gil Harrington's perspective on his illness was quite something.
Remarkable grace. She said, basically, we're not invested in retribution. We wanted Jesse Matthews stopped. This has been accomplished. Her focus was on public safety being achieved, not vengeance.
Powerful. This whole case forces you to think about how evil like this can exist right alongside us, doesn't it?
It does. The sources point out serial murderers often blend directly into their own community, hold jobs, seem normal.
Which is what makes them so dangerous.
They choose their moments, have that cooling off period, return to everyday life. They know how to gain trust, lull victims into false security, then strike. This deep dive really traced that pattern with Matthew.
And connecting it all back, It underscores the vital role of forensics, doesn't it?
Critically important. Robust databases. Proactive pattern identification. Those connections between Hannah, Morgan, and the 2005 case, only possible through DNA and dogged investigation. Without it, they might have stayed isolated tragedies.
And legislative changes, like the Grahams fought for, can literally save lives.
By closing those loopholes, every case matters.
So as we wrap this up, it leaves us with a really sobering thought for you, the listener. If Jesse Matthew hadn't been caught on that Texas beach when he was, would those cases eventually have been linked? Or would there just have been more names, more dates added to his list?
A chilling question about vigilance and justice.
We've taken a deep dive today into Hannah Graham's tragic case, how it unraveled connections to Morgan Harrington and the 2005 attack. We saw how forensic science brought accountability, prioritizing public safety.
And the lasting impact isn't just the justice served. It's the legislative change sparked by Hannah's parents, the awareness raised by foundations like Help Save the Next Girl, turning loss into positive action.
It really makes you reflect on human complexity, the power of science, and what communities can achieve when they advocate together. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it encourages you to think more about these issues, maybe even see how you can get involved in your own community.